Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming once again today. This has been Yume, your host for our talk show today, The Other Side. If you're watching, it's probably because we're on the winter break. So we're having some pre recorded Other Sides episodes for you guys to enjoy. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. And today, I'm joined by none other than the dazzling shooting star in all her sparkling glory, Yereza. Would you kindly hashtag plug yourself?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Reza. Sorry about the long break. We're all hanging out and having a great time right now. We need some content. I'm Reza. I'm a shooting star VTuber. I do art and gaming on my channel. Just simply type in Yereza, then you'll find me. And I play Sir Rowan Schmidt in the Herald's campaign, and I'm excited to talk about that today.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for doing this with me today. Um, I'm Usbin Yume, uh, like I said, your host for The Other Side today, and also the person behind Lucifer Theodore Burns. And for those of you who aren't familiar with The Other Side, it's essentially just a talk show where we talk about our D&D characters from the homebrew campaign, DM'd by none other than Merlin the Magister himself in his homebrew world. And the campaign's called Heralds, currently on episode 60 something. And yeah, look forward to those episodes continuing once we get back. But let's go ahead and jump right into the first question, if you're ready.
Yes.
So, Heralds is not your first experience with D&D. You've had games in the past and other games that are going on right now. But how would you say you've grown as a player since you first joined?
Oh, um, I think as a player, I was allowed to immediately take I feel like a big leap with the character because I used to have a hard time when I was still playing my barbarian, right? She was very stoic and all that. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
hard time playing off of other characters as much. Uh, it's not as easy. It wasn't as easy to me to like give cues to other people, being like, and now you talk.
Uh-huh.
um, Especially recently, I've noticed that it's been a little easier to, first of all, take my time while role playing, and then also being like, basically like giving the ball, putting the ball into someone else's court.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically inviting them to join you in whatever you're doing here. I was always too awkward to do that, and it's gotten a lot easier, I think.
See. Do you think it's because well, it could be multiple things, right? But do you think it's because like your character has kind of become also more comfortable with the party? Do you think that's part of it?
Um, no, I think it's literally just that I've become more comfortable with the party.
I see.
um, because it helped a lot to be the outsider in a team. Uh, because you guys let me experience that in the beginning in a very, I wouldn't, this is gonna sound weird, but in a very pleasant way, you know? It, I was on the outside of the group, but I wasn't like being bullied.
uh,
You know, I
yeah.
was, instead, I was allowed to be the weird new element for a while until I integrated into the group. And that is also, my horribly, I think it has something to do also, my horribly bad luck.
Uh,
I don't know if it's been as intense in Herald as it is in my other campaigns, but it's impressive. Um, it's gotten a lot easier to um, play off of my failures.
that's good.
It's like whenever I fail at something now, it's like, yep, that makes sense, and now it's gonna be funny.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's a great skill to have is to take your failures and like turn them into wins, which is really great.
Yeah,
Like you walk into a
yeah.
bar, you trip, but then you do a somersault, you know? That's how it is.
Yeah. Or you like do a bad persuasion check, and over the course of that, you just become very relatable because you start stuttering. It's like, it's a, I won the battle, I lost the battle, but I won the war, you know?
Mm, yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
And I would agree with you as well. And once again, it could could have just been you still getting kind of used to the other players behind like the characters. But yeah, you're very clearly uh and Rowan is very clearly like a big cornerstone of Harold's, being like a support character for obviously Emeth, but for some of the other characters as well. And she's pretty
Aw.
most of the time level headed, right? And so she yeah,
uh,
she
Sorry.
you disagree?
I just thought, I thought about Sin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
why I
yeah,
said most
yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's like a cornerstone. And so yeah, I think uh, both you and Rowan have kind of grown to be that irreplaceable part of Harold's.
Aw. No, that's so nice. What the hell?
um, yeah, since your reason is not like nice things, we will move on to the next question. um, you always seem to have a lot of fun when playing Dungeons and Dragons. But what are some of
Oh,
the things that you
yeah.
find the most fun about it?
The most fun. Um, I okay. There's two things. One thing I find extremely satisfying is to use all of my abilities at once and being allowed to bonk someone into oblivion. But I think the most fun, like the thing that just excites me so much that I think about the most, is just having that regular banter with other players. It just, I don't know, I feel like, to me personally, that's almost the most important part of D&D is just the in-between scenes where they're at breakfast and they just like talk about something meaningless. It makes
I
me so
see.
happy.
You enjoy like the little
Or like,
slice of life elements that happen in between.
yeah, yeah. Or in a different group, I tend to bicker a lot with one of the other player characters, and it is so enjoyable. I laugh so much during those scenes. It's I don't know, it makes me very happy for some reason. I love having a rapport. I love players having a rapport with each other, just ping ponging off each other and just creating a great um, conversation, something entertaining.
Do you know why that's enjoyable to you? That might be a difficult question, but
um,
I'm curious.
I, I guess I enjoy quick conversations. I really enjoy when the person I talk to like has an immediate response,
Mm.
and I feel like that's easier for people when they don't have to be themselves, when they can be something else.
Hmm.
And yeah, and they just say things they would never say in real life because it's either considered mean or weird or I don't know, something else. And when they're playing D&D, they're like, yeah, I'm going to say this thing and it's going to be hilarious. And it kind of feels like, I don't know. It feels like a more like a freer way of conversation even though you're like confined within your character.
Mhm.
It feels much freer.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about this in one of the other side episodes. Um, and maybe this is along your train of thought, or maybe not. But it's almost like a free and safe space to kind of like explore different things that you wouldn't normally say, and just get to experience that without actually having to actually experience it in a sense.
Yeah, completely. I think a very similar a thing happens while streaming, especially if you have a 2D phase. Um, because you can say whatever comes to mind, and that is still your personality, that is still you, but you're still playing a role in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just be whatever you want to be, which is the case in real life as well.
Mm.
But in real life, you usually have far higher pressures from other people to be a certain way, which you don't
Mm.
have during streaming in D&D, which is amazing.
Uh, a very great life lesson from Yereza here. And speaking about those life lessons, have there been any that you've taken from Harold's, either big or small?
Oh, that's cute. Um, yeah, I think the biggest one is oh my gosh, how do I describe this the best? You know what? I'll just say it.
Sure.
Even if a group feels like, even if it feels weird that you're joining a group of strangers, it's
Mm.
gonna get better really quickly if you put effort into it.
Oh.
um, I guess other people learn this in elementary school. um, but I never did. I didn't have groups to hang out with until it was like, oh god, in my 20s.
Wow.
um, and so that's all very new to me. And while I was sure that I was gonna have fun with everybody, I was like, if I don't fit, then that's just, yeah, that makes sense. That I kind of expected not to uh, have a part in it for a long time,
Mm.
but I was wrong, luckily.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that that is a really valuable life lesson to take. Is that know, however anxious you feel in the beginning, or however fearful you are in the beginning, a lot of the times it's in your head, and that kind of just it's difficult, right? But learning to kind of let go of that fear or anxiety little by little, uh, and you feel that fear with the uh, the moments of your eventual or new friends, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really great answer. Uh, very, very, very deep. Actually, I like that one.
Aw. I'm
And
being praised so much today. I like it.
yeah, I'll charge you afterwards.
Shit! Per compliment? Oh!
And so we've really kind of dived in already to kind of what Rowan and your mindset is, going to the character, and just kind of the way that circumstances happen, where Rowan was a new person and you were also a new person coming to the group, like not really knowing anyone. Um, what's it like playing Rowan? Kind of having gone from that to now, where, like I said before, she's pretty much irreplaceable.
um, it's so fun, first of all. It's so enjoyable. It is, what's nice about Rowan is that you can always just come from a very calm place and just say your thoughts. But I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm not a calm person in general. And then just being like, now let's take it down by about a 5 and let's say what we're thinking. And it's yeah, it's really fun to pretend to be somebody who stays calm in stressful situations. It's like the power, damn.
Yeah. I'm sure that is really powerful. Like, as a not calm person to be able to get into that, Zen state. How do you
Yeah.
do that? Like, do you do anything to get into that character or that calm state?
Um Sort of. It's a little fucked up, to be honest.
Okay.
Um,
That's how you just take a bunch of cough medicine right before.
I'm filled with NyQuil every time we play Hero. Um, no, it is. I have to. I think I have to explain a little bit. Rowan's biggest character trait so far has been her devotion to Emeth or the royal house. Um, and when you think of yourself as like a as just a tool,
Mhm,
and you completely erase yourself for the sake of something else,
mhm.
there's nothing to be anxious about because you're not there anymore. Like, even if you're gonna die, or Hal's
Uh-huh.
gonna die, or anyone's gonna die, it's like, and now we continue with our mission. you know?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, it's a fucked up way to get into it, but there's also an extreme calm in that because you completely erased yourself from the equation.
You see.
So there's nothing to be anxious about because you basically don't exist.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, viewers, there's the second life lesson for today. Is that
Completely erase yourself for the sake of another.
yeah, and
That's healthy.
yeah, okay, I see where that's coming from now. And like to talk a little bit more about that, I do find it easy like to take similar to what you're saying, like it's easy kind of to take that route because as soon as you start, it's easy to help other people, right? Or feel like you're helping other people. But as soon as you start to like think of yourself, like, oh, how am I going to help myself? It's like, dang, that's hard. And now like I have to think about so much other stuff. But if you don't do that,
Yeah.
and if you just don't exist, then it's pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like this it's like the biggest task of your life, taking care of yourself, is removed from you, and there is so
Exactly.
much space now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because as simple as it sounds, taking care of yourself is really hard.
Yes. Especially when it's supposed to be proper, and then you have to be nice to yourself even though you're so fucking annoying. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Be nice to yourselves. uh but
So
yeah,
yes.
I suppose. Sorry, am I interrupting you for the
Oh, go
second
ahead.
time now?
Go ahead.
Um, I just used to have a really bad habit of putting people on pedestals and becoming like making my entire life about them and becoming extremely obsessed, like in a bad, toxic way,
Like the
with people.
stereotypical Scorpio way.
Yeah. It's my Scorpio blood. But I used to do that a lot, and then I thankfully got therapy. But now it's really easy to tap into that. It's so easy to that's why Ron's so easy to play. It's just whoosh, okay, we're that now. Welcome home.
uh-huh. That's
I don't do
that's
that anymore.
good. I'm glad for you. But yeah, that is a really interesting thing that you bring up, and we won't like get too deep into that because this is not the therapy session. This is just the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so kind of going more into Rowan now, uh, she has been through a lot, and coming from no memories at all to having what seems like most of her memories, right? But then also all the other stuff that's happened. You know, there's there's a lot of different ways that Rowan probably could have turned out, but she is the way she is now. And so kind of going over those past events, kind of going to almost like in chronological order, I guess. I didn't realize that I put it that way. Um, but Eve, for those of you who aren't familiar with Eve, do you mind explaining who Eve is, Teresa?
Yes. No, I don't mind. Eve is um a manifestation of Rowan's angelic powers, saving her own life as she died in a desert, who then went on to live her own life for several years until things started happening and Rowan popped back out without any memories. So the problem is, Eve, I think that's one of the biggest struggles the group currently has, is the whole Eve, Lucy, Emmett thing. Because even though it's kind of over now, I guess, but um, Eve became engaged to Lucy, and then she was killed by Lucy's best friend. But we don't have to get into the clone thing. Um, but well, she wasn't dead. She just turned back into Rowan, and yeah, that's Eve.
It's like I feel
And
like
oh yeah,
that meme where we're trying to explain there's like a whole bunch of red lines and stuff on the chalkboard.
yes, that one.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
um, and yeah, Eve is also used to be Rowan's Echo Knight shadow, Echo Knight Echo, but she has recently, last or second to last episode, been erased in some way, and now it's just Rowan as an Echo, which is fucking sad. I miss her so much.
Yeah. So that's Eve. If you really want to see like Eve's kind of appearance, I don't remember exactly what episode it's in, but Eve does make her appearance in quite a few of the episodes. You can also learn more about her. I feel like a shameless plug right now. In the
Hell
book
yeah.
that I wrote, um, called Harold's Rowan Oath of Devotion, um, and just a little correction. They never actually got engaged. Lucy was about to ask her, but he never got the
Oh
chance.
shit. I see. That is so sad. Oh shit.
um, but yeah, but now that the viewers have a maybe clear picture question mark of Eve, um, what were your thoughts, both Rowan's and yours, when that reveal happened that Eve was either you or part of you?
Oh my god. I have never experienced. I was so excited. I don't think I've ever been that excited about something that happened in D&D. Like I was about fucking the tiefling Rowan is actually the human girlfriend of one of the people I'm trying to become a part of their group of. Wow, was that English? I don't think so. Um it was fucking insane. I was like, because I suspected it ever since the surfboard incident.
Really?
Um, yes, because he was like a familiar color. Merlin said
Oh, the spark.
Rowan's hair color looked familiar to you.
Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, it didn't make any sense to me. I could not make sense how Rowan, a dark-skinned tiefling, could possibly be Eve. Like, I could not think of a way, but I guess she just literally polymorphed. Um, ever since then, I was like, wow, it would cause so much shit if Rowan was somehow Eve. And she isn't. And she is. It's like a weird thing. Um, but yeah, ever since then, I suspected it. And then when it was confirmed, it was like you seeing you watching a new season of a series and then they play out the fan fiction you wrote about it. That was it was insane.
I see.
I don't think I'll ever experience that again. It's just so exciting.
Yeah,
I just love when shit goes down. It's so fun.
it it was an insane moment. Yeah, were you gonna say something?
Merlin!
It me.
Oh, hello, Merlin. Welcome to the other side.
Oh shit, are you guys filming?
Yeah, we're recording, so we can always cut this out if you want to, or we can just leave it in.
You guys should have hopped in live.
Oopsie.
Goodbye.
See you, Merlin.
But we're not live, boss.
Yeah, we'll keep that in. Everyone, that was Merlin, the DM. Uh, he's an Australian. That's all you need to know. I'm just kidding.
He's the genius behind the whole Eve thing.
Yep.
Well, actually,
Also,
you created Eve, but
yeah. it's I
he
guess it's
made
like
it all
a
fucky wucky.
yeah. I was just gonna say it's Merlin and I is kind of like adopted child. um, yeah, and yeah, it was an insane thing that happened because it was off a natural 20 from death saving throws. Is also what I
Oh my god.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. That was so good. Holy shit.
Yeah. It was awesome. I just clearly remember that time when it happened.
It was so epic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And what about Rowan? Well,
What
I
about
guess it's
Rowan?
hard to see because I don't know if Rowan like has memories when Eve's around, or if it kind of just like switches, I guess, memories.
Mhm.
But what were
I
Rowan's
the
thoughts
way
either? Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, what are Rowan's thoughts either during or after the event?
Yeah. I think whether she had memories of that moment or not, I think Eve and Rowan wrote each other letters constantly. Um, kind of explaining what happened while one of them was awake for the other one to like catch up on when she's awake. And I think Rowan just felt extremely guilty. um, it was not enjoyable for her. But first of all, she felt guilty that somehow she's keeping Lucy's girlfriend captive in her brain. That is what she thought at first, which is insane. Second of all, she's the whole Emeth thing. She felt responsible for that as well. Um, and she felt guilty about what she might have to do and how that would affect Eve. Like, whatever was going to happen, whether they need to part from each other or Eve is gonna at some point just vanish like she did an episode ago. Um, all of those were horrible endings for her. So, what she loved was having Eve around, but the consequences were horrifying.
Totally understand. And this was kind of just like a kind of messed up. And obviously, this is not like was not the intent or whatever. But it was just kind of funny that Rowan kind of like came in, did the whole Eve thing, and then and she didn't take Emmett away from Lucy, right? That's not how it was, but it kind of seems like that.
Now you said it. You said it out loud.
But yeah, it's like Rowan was like, "Hey, Eve's here," and then uh, Lucy and Emmett kind of get into a fight, and then Rowan's like, "Well, let me just swoop in there."
Rowan came in, said, "I'm both of your girlfriends now,"
Yeah.
and just caused chaos. I I gotta say, I honestly did not expect that development with M. I thought that was just gonna be the classical mainstream media queer baiting sort of thing that was never gonna happen. I was wrong.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that. Some of the later questions. But yeah, yeah, going back to what you were saying about kind of Rowan's guilt and like the consequences kind of with each scenario, it definitely makes sense. And do you think she's still kind of going through that in some ways, or do you think she's kind of over that by now?
um, she is. Well, how do I say that? Yeah, she is 100% going through that still. The third of the three, with like what's gonna happen with Eve, has been worse than ever, especially now. Um, she still feels responsible about the whole Eve, Lucy, Emmett thing. Um, but yeah, I think at the moment she's like, I have bigger problems. This isn't my problem. If like she didn't choose this, she didn't like, you know, this is a thing that happened to her, not something she consciously chose. So she's like, I won't be taking on that responsibility anymore. All I'm gonna care about is Eve's well being because that's important to me.
Cool. Yeah, because you know one of the I think the core aspects in D&D a lot of times is uh, kind of either accepting or learning from your past and
Mm.
and like the whatever pain you hold inside, and it's kind of been uh, exacerbated. Well, that's a word that I don't normally use by the presence of
Big words.
by the presence of Erdy, who literally like takes that and uses it against you. So it's like more than imperative that you kind of face those things and either accept them or whatever it is that you need to do. She's
Yeah.
like a reverse therapist where she forces you to face your problems or else you get hurt.
Oh,
um,
I'm sure that shock therapy was exactly that.
yeah, probably.
She's just a 50s therapist.
No. um, and so going into some more of the events that have uh, that both you and Ron have experienced. This is probably one of your favorite arcs, but what was it like for both you and Rowan during the Sind arc?
It was not my favorite arc. I have never suffered this much because of a D&D villain. Holy shit, so many superlatives today. But seriously,
Do you want to give the
dude.
viewers just a quick recap of who Sind is and who Sind is to you?
Okay, so Sind is one of the three sisters who have been tormenting the group since the beginning almost. Um, Cindy is, I would say, the most harmless of the three sisters. She's mostly just kind of. I think she's just vibing. um, just, um, yeah, no, she's still evil. She's still abusing people. She's still manipulative evil being. Um, and that is incredibly hot to me, Reza. I don't know what happened, but I'm in love with this character. It's insane.
Remember what we said earlier
um,
about the obsessive trait?
oh yeah, I have. See, the thing is, with characters, that only ends up in
It's character
creative
development.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. With people, you can't do that. You can that is illegal. But yeah, it is much easier to be obsessed with a character than it is to be obsessed with a real life person because there's just no consequences, and that's great. Um, but yeah, Cindy, hot fire woman, and I apparently like fire women. I didn't realize until it was proven to me once again with Sind.
I just a random insert of me, but I still think Send was pissed at Lucy for denying her.
For the what?
uh, for so Lucy had kind of denied her, like when she was trying to seduce Lucy, basically. Lucy was like,
Uh,
"I'm good," and I
that
think
was
she's
so funny.
I to this day still think she was pissed off at that.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, or maybe that's just me trying
Maybe.
to redeem Lucy a little bit. Um, yeah, what about for Rowan? Was it basically just one to one, the same with Riza and Rowan at the same time, like thinking the same
No,
things?
Rowan had a 2-second crush on her before she lost consciousness and started killing her friends. Um, and after that, she was immediately convinced by M to let M kill Sin. So
Let's see.
I guess Rowan was just pure horny, less obsessed with it. It is
I
a
see.
little it is a little uncalled for to put Sind next to Ingrid because those are very different feelings. Um, but for the sake of storytelling, it was perfect
See.
because Sind Sind is hot. Ingrid was her life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for explaining that. I think it was a little bit hard to discern Eureka and Rowan at the time those things were happening.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was just full on me.
No worries.
I was trying so hard to get
Yeah.
her to not be killed. And I was like, oh my god, Lucy's on my side. Quick, let's agree with Lucy. And then it was like, she's the reason why I got taken away from Ingrid and why Ingrid died. And I was like, okay. There is literally nothing I can do in character.
Yeah, one interesting event to have happened, which seemed to have some, you know, lasting consequences even after the fact. Um, and I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure how that kind of played out. Whereas like an after effect curse that you had to deal with um, when you had to kind of face Sind and Ingrid and
Uh,
yeah, that whole thing.
yeah. Yeah, Sind was just. I really just think because I'm pretty sure Sind put that thought. I think Sind is the person who helped her get over it, like full stop. Because Sind is the person who put that thought into her mind of just do it, whatever. Who fucking cares, you know?
Mm.
Which is something she's never thought before because she didn't exist. So, um, yeah, it the second you get to have a different perspective, it tends to get a lot easier to deal with the things that felt impossible before, I think.
That's really great. You pulled a reverse Uno card on Send.
Yeah. Thanks for the help.
Yeah. Um, and then kind of going more into Rowan's relationships. Obviously, there's a
Mm.
not a new one, but a a relationship now with Emmett and Rowan. Will you tell us more about that, please?
I am just as confused as you guys. Yeah, I did not expect it. I thought what we were gonna get is a Emmett opening up emotionally, being like, I don't want to lose you, Rowan, and Rowan being like, never! And then that's it, and we kill Erdy.
Uh-huh.
um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's
um,
been Merlin's favorite shit. It's just so funny.
yeah, and if I may bring like another, well, this was Astrid because we had done our other set already. By the time you guys are watching this,
Uh-huh.
can I share with you her thoughts on it, and then maybe if there's anything you want to comment on that, you can.
Oh my gosh, yes, please! It's like a
Good.
cheat sheet. I love that.
Or
I don't
just
have
take
to
your
have my own
answers
thoughts.
and yeah, take your answers and put them on mine.
Yay!
So as for and just in terms of like the, I guess the relationship itself, she said that she kind of saw it as like a kind of like yin and yang, more kind of like a balance thing, where she was thinking that
Oh.
Astrid, or not Astrid, Emmett is a lot more um, reckless, a lot more uh, passionate about certain things and willing to like impulsively act on it, whereas Rowan's a lot more not stoic, but a lot more level-headed and
Yeah,
also
reserved a little
passionate. Yeah, but in a different way. Um, yeah, and there she said that there was a balance in that, and that on top of the kind of the fear that Ashford was expressing as she was playing, Emmett was kind of what led up to
My poor baby.
it.
Yeah, that's totally it. I think they're a really good fit. Like, hands down. Because it is exactly as Astrid said. Emeth is very passionate, very go get 'em, very quick witted, um, reckless sometimes, but she's also insecure about all those things she does, and she doesn't feel like she's living up to those things. And Rowan has none of that. Rowan is like, yes, of course I'm the royal guard. Obviously, like this is what I've been doing all my life. Yeah, of course you'll be queen because I see that you have the stuff for it. And also she's like, yeah, of course she's gonna be nervous because she's Emeth and she literally does not think like me. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice.
And as you were kind of going through that and pointing it out, there was one thing I noticed. Um, if you would allow me to comment on what you said.
No, no, please do.
um, and this is not a question on the board, but something I just thought of is that when you were kind of describing, both Rowan's and Emmett's relationship just now, I noticed that you didn't really talk much about what Rowan gets out of it. And maybe this is once again, it's just like Rowan is just so focused on helping everyone but herself. That's a part of it. Um, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Damn it, don't blow my cover. No, you're right. It is, it really is a whole can of worms that neither I nor Rowan really want to open. Because, first of all, there was no conversation about it. There was one kiss, and then
Just
they
like real
cuddle.
life, right? That's how you
Yeah.
get into relationships in real life.
um. The whole Ingrid thing. Rowan was deeply in love with her mother, with Emmeth's mother. And then 2 days later, Emmeth kisses her. It is. It's like, is Rowan with Emmeth because of Emmeth? Or is Rowan with Emmeth because she's Ingrid? Like, and the thing is, Rowan is over it at this point. She is over Ingrid. She knows that she could have said something. She knows that she can't say anything anymore. And she knows that there is no point in tormenting herself over it anymore. So I think right now, Rowan's just kind of like, I really enjoy this, and I don't want to ruin it by thinking about it.
See.
I think
Fair.
that is currently Rowan's attitude. And oh my gosh, when Hal said, I think she got a little bit of a reality check. When Hal said, Emmeth is gonna need a queen, Rowan was like, who? And then she was like, holy shit, what have I done? It's like, it's easy to encourage the person she's sworn to. Again, there is no Rowan in this equation. And suddenly there's another queen she has to take care of, and it might be herself. That's gonna be, I think, I don't know if it's gonna be difficult or not. Maybe. It might be really easy. I will have to see how that situation develops.
Yeah, like all this like kind of quote unquote future talk is really interesting, considering we have maybe like around 40 episodes left or 30 something. And
Yeah.
having been more than halfway through the campaign, it's one of those things like we've been doing this thing for so long. I want to see how like all this ends up wrapping up.
Yeah. Thing is, if we're gonna future talk, if it does end up like that, if Rowan becomes Emmeth's queen as well, the way I imagined it is actually again a perfect match because both of them have an incredible need for adventure, and both of them have a need for a completely secure home. And I think Rowan is really gonna enjoy the duties of a leader. She loves keeping everything like. She loves taking care of big problems and kind of keeping everything, like keeping an eye on everything. And she also loves adventuring. So I was wondering if they would just be a royal couple and sometimes just go out fucking adventuring and leaving the kingdom to a council in the meantime. It's like, I feel like something like that with Rowan's dream of having an airship and cartographing all the new continents. Kind of feels like that's gonna be their hobby.
Yeah, it's always really cool to talk about the future, and kind of guess what's gonna happen. And yeah, I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to potentially see how these things turn out. And kind of to rewind back a little bit from the future to the more recent uh, term, series of events. We talked about this before, but another important, very important person in Rowan's life is Eve, and you've mentioned that she's now gone. And to give you guys context, because this started once Lucy tried to touch a mark of Erdi essentially, and um, since everyone knows this now, it's not really like a secret. But upon touching that mark, um, Lucy forgot everything about Eve and her existence. Um, that was not my intent at all. And it's now something that I also have to figure out how to deal with as Lucy.
Oh,
um, yeah, will you tell us more about that and like Rowan's and your thoughts around that?
I am so fucking upsetty spaghetti. You have no idea. I'm like, you saw it in the fight we just had. I constantly called my Echo Eve.
Yeah.
I it is a physical strain on me to say Echo Rowan. That is not right. No, it's Eve. I want Eve back. And so does Rowan. I think it is deeply unsettling to her that a person she kind of was taking care of or was trying to take care of can just vanish. It's like Dante suddenly not being here anymore. It is just not something you even consider because it's like, of course Dante's gonna be here. And even more so with your own brain ghost, if you believe that you've created her with your celestial heritage, how can anyone take that away? You created her and she's in your brain.
Mhm.
um, so it is weird, because only Lucy lost his memory,
Mhm.
but Eve also disappeared. I first thought Eve was scrubbed from reality.
Uh-huh.
But Rowan can remember her, and Rowan is alive.
Mhm.
If Eve didn't exist, Rowan wouldn't exist either.
Mhm.
So, what in the world could have happened that would remove Eve, remove Lucy's memories of her, but have everyone else's memories stay intact?
Yeah. Wish I could tell you. I have no idea.
It's oh my god. Merlin always has such great riddles in his stories. It is so exciting to theorize about that.
Yeah, and
But
it came at.
yeah.
Oh, continue, please.
No, I have nothing to say, sorry. What did it become?
I was just going to add that, and this is not the Lucy episode, so I'll keep it short. But right
I
when I
love you
had,
talking about Lucy. Please, seriously.
yes, but it was around the time because as a player, right, I was really uh, not struggling, but I was really thinking hard about Emmett and Eve and all that stuff. And one the time I'd finally come to like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is a decision that I feel like Lucy would make, and that I'm also like good with. And I was like, okay, gonna do this, gonna do that, but it was like, nope, Eve does not exist anymore. Uh, and kind of just all that thinking that done was like, okay, just throw it in the trash.
Oh my god, you've been thinking about that for 15 episodes easy, right? That is unbelievable. Okay. Oof. No, wait, it has to be like 20. Maybe even 30. Holy shit.
Luckily, it's not like a every day I think about this thing, but it's just like near the time D&D comes, I'm like, dang, what
Yeah.
should I do?
Oh gosh. Yeah. And do you want to share what you had decided or do you want to keep that for D&D?
let's see. I'll share a little bit. I won't share like all of it.
Yeah.
Um, but at the time, I was thinking a lot about, and you actually helped me think through this a lot when we talked about our characters. But in the beginning, I was just like, Emeth or Eve, like who's he gonna choose? And then when I was talking to Yereza, she like kind of opened my eyes and told me like those are not the only options available. And when I kind of had that revelation, I was like, you're right. And then so after, you know, I was helped to come to that revelation, I kind of thought through it and decided on what I thought would be best for uh, the Lucifer Theodore Burns man. And yeah, I had started taking those steps by talking to Emma, and then there's going to be
Yeah.
other steps I was going to take for Eve and for the rest of the group. Um, but yeah, that was literally like thrown into the abyss. And just for a little more on this, it's one of those things where like you're not defined by not that Lucy associates Eve with trauma, but there is a lot of um, events, traumatic events that Eve takes place in,
Mm-hmm.
um, in its past, and in a sense, like you're not defined by your trauma, and a lot of that was kind of taken away from him. And so, like
Yeah.
in my head, it's one of those things where it sound weird to say this, but trauma is actually a valuable part of your past um, because it helps you kind of be the person you are. And it's hard to think of a Lucy that would be okay with kind of throwing that away and also throwing away like the memory of Eve and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I think if the time where he ever has to come to like, hey, you can continue as you are now and just kind of be not a fresh start, but have a relatively fresh slate, or you can take all that pain that you had from before and the memories that you had from before and carry that weight once more. I just think that'll be an interesting thing to come across if it ever does. Harold's
Yeah. And then Erdi came along and was like, you don't get closure.
campaign. Yeah.
Little bit. um, I would not throw that decision into the bin yet. I am sure Eve comes back. The only reason I haven't had a mental breakdown yet is because I'm 100% convinced Eve did not just blip out of existence, because that is the cruelest ending for a character, is to just flop. And it would fit with the sisters to be so powerful that they say, this person has never existed, and then they don't. Um, that would be extremely horrifying. I would hate it. It would at the same time be the most awesome and the saddest ending I've ever experienced for a character.
Yeah, it would
Because
be.
it is so heartbreaking and so scary, because it's like your entire reality is now like in question, right? It's like, if they can do this to Eve, can they do this to us? Basically. Can we just suddenly phase out of existence just because they decided so? That is wild.
Yeah, and it is a really crazy thing to think about. And well, for the last time, bring it back to Lucy. It'd be kind of sad, like for him to just live the rest of his life not really knowing or not really having those memories and just kind of like forgetting about that.
Yeah.
um, Go ahead.
I think Lucy has always been a person who was looking for purpose, and I think the first time he felt like he had purpose was when he met Eve. Because he was a farmer boy, grew up as a farmer, he was like, yeah, okay. He became a soldier, he was like, yeah, okay. He met Eve, and it feels a little bit like his life started when he met Eve, even if it was a really fucking hard life. Um, I feel like a pre-Eve Lucy would not have started a rebellion, because a pre-Eve Lucy would have thought about his mom and would have considered everyone in his life and been like, no, it's too dangerous. I can't endanger like my farmer mom who's gonna get trampled by soldiers and all that shit. I don't know. I feel like an Eveless Lucy would have been satisfied staying a farmer. Not that that's wrong, but it wasn't what Lucy wanted to be, I think.
You literally took the thoughts right out of my head. Is that yeah, he's a simple man, just really satisfied with kind of the way things were. And I guess this is another sad way of putting it. But if you've never really felt like deep connection to anyone, you don't really crave it because you never really had it before. And
Yes.
yeah, and when you do have that and then it's gone, that's the reason it hurts so much.
Mm. Yes,
Yes.
I fully agree with that. What?
Yeah. And I was just laughing because it seems weird for me to segue into a much lighter topic, I guess, than what we were just talking about now.
Hell yeah, let's move on.
We're just going to go from 0 to 100 here and just quickly transition to another question. Rowan, when I first did the other side with you, Rowan kind of like had her thoughts on her place in the group. And do you feel like it's changed since then?
100% yes. Absolutely. Um, in the beginning, she was eager to please everybody, right? And to like earn her place in the group. She is not worried about that anymore. It has changed a lot because the Rowan that first joined the group had no memory and had a pretty solid sense of identity. She was like, I'm here to have fun. I like these people. They're nice. I want to protect them. Be I want to be there for them, and I want to be accepted by them. That was her most important thing, to be accepted. Um, Now that she has her memory back, she's like, I will protect this group to the best of my ability until the royal crown needs me. Now she's like, this group is great. I love this group. This group is not my purpose. This group is not the center of my world. Even though I think a part of her, there's a little part, like that childish Eve part, right? That is a little bit like, I would love to go adventuring with these people forever. I would love to go and slay dragons that suppress innocent villages. And I would love to go kill a storm giant together so I can wear its belt and show it off to all my friends. She's horrible. But I think that is the child part of her that just wants to have fun with everybody because she loves them. But her main thought now is just, I don't need to be, whether they accept me or not, I will still protect them as long as I can. Being accepted by the group is not something she needs anymore. Maybe that's because she's experienced it already, and she's like, I don't need their validation to offer them my skills. Or it's because she erased herself. Maybe it's both.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of the two. I don't really know myself, to be honest. But she is now very comfortable in just providing what she can to the group.
Well, that's a really nice thought to have. Although, kind of like what you mentioned, it is curious to see whether like she doesn't need to feel the fear of being accepted because she has faith that she already is, or if it's because she just completely removed herself from the equation. Um, that's an interesting to also think about. And kind of uh, commenting on kind of like the having fun part. Uh, Bar Lucy and Ornala, uh, all the other party members live a relatively long life, so you guys have technically a lot of time to do a lot of that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If we survive, don't get blinked out of existence.
Yeah. You mean our characters just can't go on vacation and tell the sisters to hold up a bit?
I'm sorry, it's the weekend. Come on,
Yeah.
guys. Do you not do weekends?
We had our fight scheduled for next week, not this week.
Get an ice cream or something. Jesus. Have a spa day, guys.
Yeah. And, Rowan had her set of thoughts when she first came to the party. What are her thoughts and what are hers and your thoughts on each character now?
Ooh. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's start with Lucy. Let's start with Lucy. He was in the beginning. We talked about this. He was like a mentor to her, right? She felt the thing is she only saw him for a very short time. She saw him for like a few days,
Mhm.
and in that time she saw him die twice.
Yes.
One time he died when she wasn't there. Um, so honestly, I think Lucy to her, first of all, she doesn't necessarily see him as a mentor anymore. She definitely sees him as a subversive element. Like uh, whether it's good or bad, things do not stay the same when Lucy is around. um, and well, I think in a way that is at the same time calming and stressful, right? Because it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and something sure is gonna happen because Lucy is here. Am I gonna be able to deal with whatever is gonna happen? Because the things that happen around Lucy are big. Um, I guess it would be. This is gonna sound like a really stupid comparison. I'm so sorry, but it would be like traveling with Odysseus or Heracles, right? It would be like, all right, when's the next Medusa gonna jump out of us? Or when will an evil god create a whole village of seductive bird women to like trap us there? That
Yeah.
is the attitude she has towards Lucy right now. She's like, so many gods and powerful beings have their eye on him. What's gonna happen next? But yeah, that's kind of the way she sees him right now, I think.
may,
And
may I, sorry for interrupting. May I give you another cheat sheet onto Whitney's thoughts on this? On Lucy
yes,
specifically?
yes,
Um,
give me.
and the reason I bring it up is because it seems very similar to kind of what you just said. Is that when you shared that Dante, first was like really good friends with Lucy,
Mhm.
um, but similar to I guess Rowan, kind of after he left and died, it's like uh, not so much anymore, basically. Where Dante is also very worried, uh, not about Lucy, but of Lucy.
Wary
Yeah.
of him, basically.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was my little cheat sheet and insight to the other side episodes. But please
Nice.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you. I promise I won't let them look the same. But yeah, it is. I think. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's basically ever since he came back to life, it's like, is this still the person I knew? And did I even really know him? Like, I've known this dude for a few days, And I was so excited for him to come back that I didn't quite consider what it would be like once he's back. She was like, I think she was kind of having this childish hope of being like, and then Lucy is back and he's gonna help me with my shit, right? Like he did in the beginning. And now it's like, he's got a lot of stuff to think about. I It is very selfish of her to think that way, but right now she has to reevaluate how she sees Lucy because he's not here to help her. He's not here to solve her problems. She's got her memory back, and now it's like, no, he's not a mentor anymore. Then what is he? You know?
Yes.
That's basically her thing right now.
Yeah. Very, very cool insight onto Lucy. Do you mind speaking about the rest?
Nah. I'm gonna go right over to Emeth. Um, I think the way she sees Emeth right now is she can see a nervousness in Emeth that she's never seen from a royal before because she's never been with royalty through childhood and adolescence, right? Where they would usually deal with those feelings. At the same time, she sees, as she keeps telling her, she sees someone who really has the grit and the drive to lead a country if she wants to. And well, Emeth is just okay, oh no. This is gonna sound so fucking cheesy. But
Okay.
to Rowan, Emeth basically feels like her destiny at the moment, I suppose. Because it's just whatever. She just wants to stay by Emeth's side, I think. Anything else is kind of secondary. Then, Dante, baby boy. I think right now she's very worried for Dante. After the killer thing, she really wants to have a chat with him and be like, because Erdi was like questioning him about, are you a killer? Like, are you blah, blah, blah. First of all, dying is part of nature, and he is nature. Second of all, a dragon is not scary when it protects you. And a dragon kills a lot of people. Those two are not mutually exclusive. Yes, Dante's enemies fear him, but that doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just means he's strong.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point that you have. But it's also interesting because I also know what Winnie thinks about it and what Dante thinks about it. I think this is definitely one of the perks to being the host of the other side is you get so much insight into all these characters and you get to like compare everyone's thoughts and like, oh.
Oh.
So sometimes it's like that, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Sorry, please continue. I keep on interrupting.
No, I love it. Please always do. I feel like I'm talking constantly. It's
this is your episode, so that's the way it should be.
yeah, but you are the host, so like, you know. Yeah, sorry. Orinala. I was like, Matif? No. That's not. I wish Matif was still here. Matif was one of my favorite characters because maybe that was just because I had such a short time interacting with him, but he was just such a brusque, such an abrasive character who was just hurting inside. And who, if you approached them with, how do I say this, softness, there were no spikes anymore. There was just a sad fucking kid. And it was like, oh my god, this is a legendary herald of like some death god. And also he's a really sad boy. But to move away from Atif and to Ornella, um she's still figuring Ornella out. At the beginning, she was like, kids, come on. You can't bring everything home. But now that she got to know Ornella and all that, mm, I think she has high hopes slash expectations for her. She kind of, Rowan sometimes feels like a caretaker, and she feels like Ornella could also do something like that, being an emotional support or physical support. She's strong to the rest of the group. And I think Rowan's kind of relieved about that, because there have been many situations where it's like, holy shit, everyone's sad and I'm one person. Help! um, yeah, and now she's like, Ornella just went to Lucy. Okay, I'll go to Dante. That's basically, um, yeah, she really fucking appreciates Ornella's presence. Ornella's feral side, Rowan would have minded in the beginning, but after that one fire dream, I feel Rowan has changed to the point where it's like, morally, this is bad. Personally, I am so excited and I don't know why. I think it's a little bit of her sycamore-ness coming out.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very wonderful insights onto everyone. And yeah, I really do like seeing what everyone thinks, because surprise, surprise, everyone has different thoughts on
What?
characters. um, yeah,
Yume,
and
what do people think about me? I'll just have to listen to the other sides.
yes, and all of you will also. Um, there will be an other side for every single person except for Lucy. You guys just have to uh, stay in the clouds about that, or stay in the fog about
Do you
that.
wanna have an other side about Lucy right after this?
um, like, are we just gonna switch spots, or am I just
Yes.
gonna? Okay. um, yeah, and to kind of wrap it up, we're going to ask a question that we did in our first ever other side. I think 9 months ago, a little bit more than that.
Ooh.
Um, if Rowan were to get a wish, what do you think she'd wish for now?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She's whatever she wants, she's gonna get herself. If she had wished for anything, maybe she would have if Hal was still alive, but at this point, no. No, I'm sorry. Nothing. It's not a wish, it's a curse. But I guess if she's forced to wish because she felt her intelligence save, um, probably, something in relation to the Pintican Empire, probably. Like, make sure the inhabitants come back safe, or rebuild Duras, or rebuild Pintican cities, something like that. Something to help out a lot on their road forward.
Yeah. Really, it's a really good wish. Which still begs the question: for those who are watching the episodes is what the heck happened to everyone.
Yeah.
And
What the fuck?
yeah, and then yeah, that really also aligns with her role as a queen's guard or whoever it may be, and you know, you need someone to rule, and you also need people to rule over. And if there's no people, then it's kind of like an
Yeah,
awkward
that's the
situation.
point. Yeah.
um, yeah. And did you have any final things that you wanted to ask or say before we kind of say bye bye to all of our lovely viewers?
Let me think. Are you upset that I took Emeth away?
Um, am I upset or is Lucy upset?
I feel like the barrier is kind of fluid. No, I'm just pulling your leg. I know you're not upset.
I can answer that if you want me to.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah. So I think as Lucy, right? As Yume, it was just an interesting thing to happen. I don't think I'm necessarily upset, but it was just like, well, I didn't expect that, similar to you.
Yeah.
And I was more just thinking about like, well, this is a little bit weird because Rowan was, like you said, in love with Ingrid, and also kind of watched this young lady kind of not grow up because obviously she wasn't
No,
there,
he did
but
not.
yeah. Um, but yeah, she kind of looked over her a little bit when she was little, and yeah, that was just my thoughts about it. In terms of what Lucy's thinking, I don't know if you guys know it. I don't think you guys have revealed it yet. Doesn't seem like it.
Not like it's not like they're concealing it. I think it's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah. You guys didn't say it, but I think like everyone can see it. And I think in his head, it's not so much that he's disappointed. More so in the fact like, oh, that was really quick. Like, was I? And it's one of those things where like he's not upset about it because like he doesn't have her anymore because like he already made that choice, or they had already decided upon that it was not the time. But it's just more like, oh, it was just kind of like yesterday that we talked about that, and now you've already moved on. It's like, okay, um, yeah, that was quick. But yeah, those are the thoughts on that.
I'm gonna judge him on that in my private time.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel like Emeth has cried about this whole situation plenty of times. And I think she's had plenty of times to build different relationships.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that would definitely be true. Um, although I do have to say that he was kind of gone for a long time and has only still been back for not too long. Yes.
Right. He didn't no way. Yeah, no, never mind, sorry. I didn't realize how time happened in that sword. So I just imagined it like he gets sucked into the sword, wakes up 2 days later, they are girlfriends, and he's like, "What happened?" And everyone else is like, "It's been 84 years."
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. Any final questions for me that can put me under the fire? On the fire.
um.
Doesn't have to be for me as well. Anything else
mhm.
you want
What do you think the next big thing is going to be after the sisters?
to say? So I imagine the sisters are probably going to take, I want to say at least maybe 15 or so episodes. Um, because there's still Erdi and then Sundaresh. And then after that, I think it's going to be the thing or the person that we've been ignoring this whole time, which Rowan didn't really get to experience other than being imprisoned by him. But what was his name?
Xandros.
Xandros. Yes, Xandros. He was the one who kind of brought the group together in the first place on the quest, and he's an extremely rich and powerful man who, if he's being smart, which he is using the sisters and our preoccupation with the sisters as time to kind of like prepare something big. It definitely seems like that would be a really opportune moment for him to reveal that after the sisters have, or even during the sisters, like while we're dealing with them. So I feel like he's probably going to be the thing that very poetically wraps up the campaign. The man who brought us together is also the person who will be our demise. Yeah,
Ooh.
those are my thoughts. What about you?
Um, I just imagining that is so fun because so far we fought a god, like 3 primordial beings, dragons, um, all that shit, and our last enemy is gonna be an orc.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy to think so. Yeah.
mm-hmm. But yeah, I can. Yeah, you're right. Sandros has to be working with Sundaresh because him and Adam were working together. They were like trading Rowan.
Mhm.
Huh, that's so fun. I hope that's gonna happen. That sounds like really juicy drama.
Yeah. Um, if I'll just, this will be the last detail, and then we'll wrap up. But in my head, the way he kind of like not gets back at us, but kind of he becomes the antagonist is, it's one challenge to face off against gods and dragons and whatnot, but it's also another challenge to face off against like a nation, right? Because he is
Mhm.
rich, because he's powerful, he's influential. He probably has the pull of you know people in high political power, which can drive nations. And on top of that, you know, although we are quote unquote the good guys, the people that we kill, right, still also have families, brothers, lovers, whatever, right? And it would be interesting if he rallied the people who have suffered because of the things that we've done against us. Because that doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them like the people who are affected by what we did. And that would be
A
a really
circle
interesting
of
way.
violence.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, how many soldiers died there? Thousands at the Pago Fort?
10,000. 10,000.
10,000. Yep. Yep. Wars are never a good idea.
Mhm.
Wars never end well. They always end sad.
Yeah. And so,
Unless they
yeah,
don't happen. That's the only war that ends well.
yes.
But oh
Yeah.
well.
Mhm. Yeah. And once again, thank you so much, Riza, for doing this other side episode. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the viewers really enjoy having you. Um,
Oh, thank you for having me.
yeah. And so, do you mind? And I don't know if we'll have another other side episode. Maybe we'll. But do you mind plugging yourself?
Yes. Hello again. I'm Reza. As mentioned, I'm a shooting star VTuber. I do art and gaming here on Twitch. And I play as Rowan Schmidt. Sometimes as Eve, not at the moment because she's gone. But I'm very excited for the next episode. I can't wait. What's gonna happen? And I really wanna box the sisters.
Wonderful.
The, the best sister died first, and I'm so mad.
As you guys can see, she's still not over it.
I'm
yeah. And I'm Usman Yume, your host of The Other Side today. For those of you guys that are most likely watching this live, it's because we are on our winter break and, like Yereza said, having a lot of fun. And to that, um, we all hope you guys have a wonderful holidays. Cherish the friends as much as Rowan does. Uh, the other heralds, and yeah, I hope you guys, or we hope you guys have a great holiday break. Have a lot of fun. Get a little bit fat if the food's really good. And yeah, we will see you on the other side. Bye, everyone.